Don't wait any longer. Happiness doesn't come from other people changing. Are you tired of constantly hoping that others will change? If only my husband were more understanding. If only my wife nagged less. If only my boss appreciated my hard work. If only my child listened better. If you've ever had those thoughts, I understand them deeply. For a long time, I lived the same way, waiting for others to change so that I could finally feel at peace. I used to believe that if people were kinder, more patient, or simply cared a little more, everything would fall into place. But day after day, disappointment grew. Other people didn't change, and I became exhausted from hoping. One day after a minor disagreement, I sat quietly by the window and asked myself, why is my happiness so fragile? Why does it depend so much on someone else's attitude? That question changed everything. I realized I'd fallen into the waiting trap, the subtle habit of postponing my peace until others behave the way I want. When we wait for others to change, we quietly hand them the remote control to our emotions. We place our joy, peace, and self-worth in someone else's hands and expect them to press the happiness button for us. But here's the truth. Everyone is busy living their own life. They rarely have the time or even the capacity to make us happy. In fact, they may never fully understand what we need. And so the cycle continues. The longer we wait, the more disappointed we become. The harder we try to make others happy, the more disconnected we feel from ourselves. Letting go of expectations isn't easy, but I discovered that the moment I stopped trying to change others, I truly began to change myself. The most important lesson I've learned is this: take full ownership of your emotions. When something goes wrong, instead of asking, why did they do this to me? I ask, what role did I play in creating this situation? How could I respond differently next time? These questions aren't about self-blame. They're about reclaiming inner power. Because once we realize we can always choose our response, we stop being victims of circumstance. People might speak harshly, but our reaction is our choice. They might hurt us, but how long we carry that pain is still up to us. When we understand this, we begin to step out of emotional dependency and step into freedom. Stephen Covey once said, happy people are those who focus on what they can control. I started picturing two circles in my mind. The inner circle, what I can influence, my thoughts, attitude, words, habits, and reactions. The outer circle, what I can't, other people's moods, choices, or opinions. I realized most of my energy had been wasted in the outer circle, trying to manage things beyond my reach. When I redirected that energy inward toward growth, mindfulness, and compassion, something unexpected happened. My wife didn't suddenly become perfect, but when I became calmer, she softened too. My child didn't transform overnight, but when I truly listened, he opened up. The world around me didn't really change. I did. In the past, when I felt hurt, I would react immediately with anger, criticism, or silence. Later, I learned to speak honestly without wounding others. Instead of saying, "You're always so inconsiderate," I tried, "I feel lonely when we don't really talk." Instead of, "Mom, you're always imposing your will on me," I said, "I feel sad when you don't trust that I can make my own choices." The message was the same, but the energy completely different, and so was the result. When we speak from sincerity, people tend to open up. When we speak from demand, they shut down or defend themselves. True connection isn't about being right or wrong, it's about daring to listen with an open heart. After years of wrestling with expectations and disappointments, I realized something simple. Happiness doesn't come from changing others. It comes from seeing life differently. That's what wisdom traditions call right view, seeing things as they truly are. No sugarcoating, no judgment, no waiting for anyone else. See yourself clearly. Understand the cause and effect behind every thought, word, and action. Happiness isn't somewhere else. It's right here. When the mind is clear, the world feels peaceful. When the heart is full, life naturally flows in harmony. If you're still waiting for someone to change so you can feel happier, pause for a moment and ask, Am I holding my happiness hostage to someone else's choices? If the answer is yes, don't judge yourself. Just smile and take it back, because no one can give you lasting happiness except you. Come home to yourself. Listen deeply. Tend the quiet garden within your soul, and you'll see when you're at peace, the whole world is too.